Doom, 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 doom. Can we talk for a minute about college football? Can we talk for a minute? I wanna go for the gusto. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It's your boy, the Big Cheese Queso Casino, and we got Boom Bam Bunansky here with y'all. We got a special episode for you today because hey, we talking some college football. We haven't spoken about college football in about how many months? 4 months?
We did. We had one.
You
Yeah, we
sure?
mentioned it. Yeah, we mentioned it a little bit, but it was brief.
Oh, but this one dedicated. College football episode is dedicated. But before we get started, we just want to thank everybody for watching, tuning in, giving us all the likes, the recent uptick in comments, the recent subscribers. We love and appreciate everyone. Y'all continue to keep liking, keep continuing to comment. Somebody's gonna get at you in the chat, have some riveting conversation. And all for the guys that watch and the ladies that watch but not subscribing, we see that too. Come on, y'all. Y'all can subscribe. It don't hurt. It don't
Help
hurt.
us
It
out,
don't, it
man.
don't
Just,
hurt that at
just,
all just to subscribe.
just help us out.
We just want to let y'all know so y'all can get notified. Hit that bell, get notified every single time we drop a video. So, with that being said, we're gonna get into it. So, conference realignments.
Yes.
It's looking pretty interesting.
It. Talking about going for the gusto. The conferences have been going for the gusto.
They have
To
been.
be honest,
They want
yeah.
money. They want exposure. They want the best talent.
Yep.
They want the most teams represented in the college football playoff. We're gonna get to that later in this episode. It'll coincide. Y'all just bear with us. I guess we will talk about the ACC first.
ACC.
Well, actually, let's back it up. So they say which schools compete in the Power Five. There's a total of 68 schools that will compete in the Power Five conferences in the year of 2024. Here's a quick makeup of how these conferences look, and we'll be starting with the ACC. So currently, we have Boston College, Clemson, Duke, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Miami, North Carolina State, Pitt, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest. So how many teams? They got 14 teams, 14 schools that's coming into the 2024 season. And then, of course, Notre Dame, they have their agreement. So they have a 5-game arrangement into the conference.
And so nobody actually changed out of the ACC yet.
No,
So the
ACC stays the
ACC
same.
stayed consistent. So
Yeah.
they're gonna definitely have the hardest time trying to get people inside the
Yeah.
college football playoff. It'll probably only be one school that can make it to the college football playoff, and they'll have to go undefeated. So for the ACC, you can look for once a year one team that made it undefeated and are in there. I feel at some point if Clemson rises back up to power, I think I mean they're still the best in the ACC, but if they rise back up to power, I'm assuming that they're going to end up wanting to move because I I I foresee it being a situation where they go undefeated and then they're not one of the top looked at teams. I
Yeah.
think they'll say, all right, this is enough, and they prove that they can play with schools in other conferences. So
Well, I'm glad you said that because I've been reading some stuff and I heard some rumors a couple weeks back. So they said if it's anything dealing with conference and realignment in the ACC, it is Clemson. And then the conferences that they could be looking at is the SEC, the Big 12, and the Pac-10 or the Pac-12. Those are the rumored conferences that surrounds with Clemson. But we'll see. We'll see.
I don't really see them in the SEC. Big 12, I can probably understand that, but
I
yeah,
mean, but once upon a time, Clemson was in the SEC, and
right,
South Carolina was in the ACC once upon a time, and then they flip flop.
right.
So you never know. That could change. That could happen again. You never know. But so since the ACC stayed the same. There's still going to be 8 conference games, and then the top 2 teams in the standings they're going to play the ACC championship game. So they still got no, they eliminated divisions. So no more Coastal, no more Atlantic. It's just number 1, number 2. Y'all play each
Yeah.
other in the ACC championship game, and then y'all go on to the spot in the college football playoff. To the Big 12.
Yep.
So in the Big 12, we got Arizona, Arizona State, Baylor, BYU, Colorado, Cincinnati, Houston, Iowa State, Kansas, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Texas Tech, UCF, Utah, West Virginia. So how many teams? That was 16 teams that I just named. 16 schools I just named. So
A lot
who
of
was
movement.
in, who was out?
Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC. We know that. That's the big one everybody been talking about. That
Mm-hmm.
that changes the balance. In that is going to initially change the balance in that conference because
Yeah,
those they were the 2 biggest looked at teams in that conference. But I think they did a good job replacing with some other teams. That conference is still going to be kind of in the air a little bit.
yeah,
You're gonna have teams like Oklahoma State, Baylor. Um, I'm glad for the move. It was a good move for Cincinnati, but I can see Oklahoma State and even TCU and Baylor. They'll have like they'll go around 8 or 9-0, and then it'll be a conversation like who are they really playing? Is this conference really good? And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
gonna be something they're gonna have to run into. But
All right, so essentially, the conference added for the 2023 season. They added BYU, Cincinnati, and Houston, and UCF. They lost Oklahoma and Texas to the SEC, which you said before, and then you got Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah joining the Big 12 in 2024. If y'all been really paying attention in this video, the last 4 teams I just named, something sound kind of fishy with one conference. And we will get to that conference real soon.
yep.
And then as well, the Big 12 won't have divisions. They'll play 9 conference games in 2024, and then their championship game will be the top 2 teams at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Big
I
Ten.
and I and I, I
Okay.
will say this, I like the idea of it not having divisions. I like it just let the conference play. Whoever comes out on top comes out on top.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Big Ten. So,
18
all right, I
teams.
should probably
Wow.
take a sip of water. So you got Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Maryland, Michigan, Michigan State, Minnesota, Nebraska, Northwestern, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, Purdue, Rutgers, UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, Washington. 18 teams.
So look,
What
this
they doing with
so
18 teams?
so I'm gonna tell you why they got 18 teams because Oregon Oregon and USC realized that it wasn't going to work where it was at. They knew they had to move. Um, the yeah, I think this division now, like I think the amount of teams is gonna make it like go make it look that like it's because like it's gonna be like top heavy, right? So people are gonna say Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, USC, and then Oregon are going to be the teams people are going to look at and say these are the teams
Because
so
before
far.
it was just Ohio State, Michigan. It was like, oh, who's going to win the Big Ten? It's either Ohio State or Michigan. Well, maybe
Right.
Penn State. Let's throw them in there. And if Michigan State has a special year, let's kind of just throw them in there too. But they guaranteed 3, but the for sure certain 2 was Ohio State and Michigan, and that third was Penn State.
Yeah. And then Michigan State whenever they were having good seasons. The they also don't have any division, so I think because of the addition of those bigger teams, it's going to help them in the college football playoff standing. I think they're gonna do better because now you can if you're Ohio State, you can say, all right, we beat USC and Caleb Williams. We beat Oregon. On top of we played Michigan, and Michigan going to finish with 1 or 2 losses. Michigan State will probably finish with 1 or 2 losses, maybe 3 if they lose to Penn State. So that's going to become very interesting, and y'all continue to tune in because I got a lot to say about that with the college football playoff, if that's going to be the case.
All right. So they don't got a division. They played 9 conference games, and then the top 2 teams in the Big Ten championship game. So, y'all remember when I said when I started listing out them teams that was coming into the Big 12? Y'all heard them teams that was going to the Big 10? Guess what conference that we about to discuss that looks completely script naked? The Pac-12 only got 4 teams.
That's awful.
It's the Pac-4.
It's the Pac-4.
It might be the conference might be called Pack Your Bags because it might get disbanded. That's what it
Yeah.
might be. They got Cal, Oregon State, Stanford, and Washington State. What kind of conference is this? What they what
See,
what what they about to do? What they
well,
doing?
see, the,
What they about to do?
well, I think this conference is just going to be gone. All together. There's only 1 or 2 things they could do. The conference is either going to be gone. You would think a team like Cincinnati or somebody like that would be a good addition, but Cincinnati found a better home. So, I mean, they better call up Notre Dame or something like find a team that's because the problem with the Pac-12 is not just that it's 4 teams. It's not 4 big teams. Like if USC and Oregon had stayed put, the conference would have been fine because you would have had other teams clamoring to try to get in that conference to play against those teams. But
Yeah,
because all the big names left, ain't nobody running crazy to try to play against Kyle. Nobody don't really care
I
that
mean,
much.
I guess the only way to save the conference, you got to go out and I guess like how you say, you go out and try to steal teams, and I can see it. I can see some teams out the Big Ten and out the Big 12 saying, we kind of really got a shot anymore since like bigger schools, even more bigger schools got into it. We already kind of been struggling, and it's like, the Pac-12 only got these 4 teams. Let's discuss this with the president, with the AD, and be like, you know what? Let's talk about let's talk about the Pac-12. Let's see how that's looking.
Yeah, because
Or
I mean, like 4 of those teams from the Big Ten can move. Like they don't all gotta be there. you
they
know,
really don't,
like
because
it's certain teams like Minnesota who they're gonna want to be there because they be having those teams where they have those years where like you know 11-1, those kind of years that like Minnesota is a team that can have a year like that every now and again, even a 3-loss season, and like you have if they have them having that 3-loss season where they're at is so much better than if they were Pac-12. So like. But I
and then
mean, like Rutgers, Wisconsin, maybe.
or they could go to the Small Five. They could go to the Small Five. They could go to the Mountain West. They can ask Hawaii. They could go.
But see, it's gonna have to make sense for the conference itself because you can't just run out there and grab teams if those teams ain't gonna make money. Like they're not gonna have no TV games or nothing. So you're gonna be spending all this extra money to have them there, and they don't produce anything.
Yeah.
So like that's why it's so hard to like do it that way because
Unless they go get the big names from the Small Five, like Tulane or like Tulsa or shoot, even Coastal Carolina. Uh, who else could they possibly ask? Um,
I mean, yeah,
but the
I
travel
mean,
time, oh no! But from Coastal Carolina, you got to go to the West Coast to go play. So doing that every week, that's a lot. So I mean, logistically,
yeah,
that makes sense too, right?
right. Especially the way however, because I mean, you only would want those players if they got to travel across the country. That way, you would only want that to happen twice a year, and one of those twice a year should be a championship game. So
Yeah.
so like that's also a thing that they got to think about, and that's where they're gonna have trouble at trying to fill out that conference. Is the travel time is one, but I I just think the Pac-12 is just going to be gone. Honestly, I don't think it's gonna make it.
Well, all right. Well, I guess we'll move on to the SEC. My conference. All right,
And
y'all. So
they only have 16 teams, which is see the big team running out. But go ahead.
see, we got Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, LSU, Mississippi State, Missouri, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt. Well, my conference, I should say our conference. It is
Yeah,
our conference now.
yeah, it is.
So they got 16 teams.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie now. If I was a team like Vanderbilt, I might hit up I might hit up the Pac-12. Like,
It
yo,
ain't even A
I
though.
ain't really got no
What y'all
chance over
trying?
here, dog. I
Hey,
don't
what
got
y'all
nothing.
trying to do?
I understand we gotta travel and stuff, but look, though, we don't got no shot over here.
So a little bit about the details. So we got rid of our divisions as well. This year we're going to play 8 conference games, but next year we're going to play. No, this year we're playing 9. Next year we're moving back down to 8, and then the top 2 teams going to play in Atlanta, like how we usually been. I guess a little bit about the SEC. Well, I guess all the conferences in general, we're losing rivalry games because just in South Carolina schedule, we're not playing Georgia. We're not playing. We're still playing Clemson, but we're not playing Georgia. That's a rivalry game. We're not playing Florida. No, I lied. We are playing Florida. We're not playing. Who we not playing? We're not playing Georgia anymore. We're not playing. There's another rivalry game that we're not playing. So it kind of like X's out rivalry games.
Tennessee? Was it Tennessee?
No, that's not a rivalry game. No, we played. No, we do play them next year.
Oh no, I just been talking about the schedule, but
Oh,
go ahead.
yeah. But I guess that's like the only example I can pull because I mean South Carolina is my school, my team. So yeah, so I can guess that's how it's gonna be for like even with Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, are you also gonna have the Red River rivalry? Did you?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
That's
because
a staple. I don't think it's gonna matter that because both teams moved together. It would have been one thing if one team stayed, but we're
mhm.
both gonna have to play that. So
I mean, yeah, I
um
guess that's the only way that makes sense. But like, I guess for like the other conferences, like, well, USC and UCLA, I guess they'll still play their rivalry game. But the Oklahoma State game, are they gonna play that? Is that gonna get played? Is the
yeah, I think so you if it's gonna be 8 conference games, the other 3 games for Texas, I think for Texas and Oklahoma, the other 3 games are gonna be all like rivalries because I think Oklahoma gonna play Oklahoma State, Texas gonna play Texas Tech. We could probably play TCU, and then it'll probably be Texas Tech, TCU, and maybe
but I mean, they gotta have a cupcake game.
Baylor.
They gotta have a cupcake game. They can't just like play all like you can't just play all the big schools. Like they gotta have a cupcake game.
I mean, that just depends on that depends on how people are gonna see those teams. Like, I mean, I don't know if TCU or Baylor are gonna be like real good teams next year. I like that'll be interesting. I know Oklahoma is gonna play Oklahoma State though. I don't have no doubt about that. And I know Texas is gonna play Texas Tech.
Because
Like,
because without a doubt, you think Georgia, Alabama ain't gonna have their 2 cupcake games?
oh yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
they gonna have theirs. South Carolina, we gonna have ours, and then I mean,
Well,
yes, like just thinking about like rivalry games, like how much. I know we'll have like the big rivalry games, yeah, but like the smaller ones, like I don't
but
think the
I
smaller
think
ones are really gonna matter no
I
more.
think a lot of the rivalries are gonna dissipate and it's gonna be new ones created. Like the new rivalries are gonna be created based on like, let's just say like I don't know. We talking about the SEC. Let's just say Auburn, you know, Auburn and Oklahoma have these great seasons, and then they continue that stretch, and then they just make it. It's going to become a rivalry game. Like, oh, these two teams are the two teams going forward. So, I mean, it's definitely with the new conferences is going to be new rivalry games as well.
All
So
right, so then we got our Independence, Army, Notre Dame, UConn, UMass,
I
and then of
still don't
course
know. I
Notre
still don't know. I
Dame.
still don't know what Notre Dame is trying to do.
They Notre Dame wants to go to the ACC, but then they don't want to go to the ACC because the basketball team and the baseball team they're in the ACC. Like they have other sports in the ACC, but the football team just is like we kind of halfway in, halfway out.
Right. Because they playing the games in there, but mm.
So um
So that's it. That's it for the Power Fives. Everything else
I mean,
are
do
the
you really want
smaller.
to talk? I mean, we can talk about the group of five, but like, eh.
Nah, I really just wanna. I wanna go ahead and transition into the college football playoff right
All
now.
right, y'all. So we about to talk about this college football playoff.
Yeah.
So it got real interesting. Shout out to Marshall. Uh, we kind of talked about it a little bit, me and him on the phone, and I just had to bring it. I had to bring it to the pod because it was just so interesting. So in 2024, with all this conference realignment happening in 2024, the college football playoff is in 2024. The new changes, 12 teams. So y'all probably asking, "Oh, it's 12 teams. What's going to happen?" So it says the first. So they'll have multiple rounds of games. So the first round of games will start on Friday and Saturday in the third week of December, with a quarterfinal and the semifinal matchups spread out across more than one day of football. So and to avoid competing with head-to-head NFL playoff games, the semifinal matchups will be played on weeknights, which is with the expectation being on Thursday and Friday, not to go against Super Wildcard Weekend, which is on Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
So the first round of games will be played. Okay, so one game will be played Friday, December 20th, 2024, and three games will be played Saturday, December 21st, 2024. Um, so they're also looking to set midweek games, like how we said earlier, into the 2024 quarterfinals, with three games being on January 1st and the fourth being on December 31st or January 2nd to avoid conflict with the NFL.
But when
So
the quarterfinal, semifinal, like they just mean like is one gonna play 12? Is that the thing, or like one got a bye week? How would that even work?
mm,
Because
as I
because I know part of it is that, let's just say it's four undefeated teams. Then they got to go back to the committee. The committee got to decide who's one, who's two, who's three, and who's
actually
four.
let's hold that thought because it says it, but let me move into it. So they got a what to expect section. So what to expect. So out of the 12 teams, the six conference champions will automatically get in. They're automatic.
Who's the sixth? Who's the sixth conference?
Uh, who is the sixth conference?
They say six conference winners, so it got to be one of the. They got to be included one of the small conferences.
It has to be one of the big. It has to be the biggest, smallest conference that we got. Who is even
The
that? What
American
conference
Athletic.
Tulane came out of? Sun Belt.
No, they American Athletic. They the AAC.
It might be American Athletic because
Yeah,
Cincinnati, Tulane,
They got Memphis,
Memphis. Yeah,
Temple,
it might be them.
SMU, UAB, Rice. But that's just
It might be them.
well, them and
And
them boy
then the
might
other
get beat
six
down.
teams will be the six highest ranked teams after that.
You know what they might actually do? They might actually just pick one team out of all of the leftover conferences and just call them the champion.
Oh, the champion of
person.
the group of five.
Yeah, like they might just do that and then insert that person there. But that's so now, boom. This is what I want to talk about, right? So now, when you think about that, right? The you got like the Big Ten and the SEC have set themselves up to have 3 lost teams in the playoffs. And so that's where it's going to get kind of weird because, as I was talking about earlier, with the 18 teams in the Big 12, you got 9 conference games.
I
Man,
mean, we
like,
all gonna beat up on each other. They're all gonna beat up on each other. But like when you get down to like how you said, them three lost teams, like even a 4 lost team, depending on who they had lose to and how they lost,
a 4 loss team can only come out of the SEC or
or
the
the
Big
Big Ten.
Ten. I don't see the Big 12. If you got 4 losses in the Big 12, I don't think that's gonna slide. And
Shoot, even a 3 lost team in the Big 12, you might be out.
right, like you got to be a 2 loss team at the Big 12, and you had to lose to like the win of the conference once, and then
Ooh, ooh,
and let's just say
ooh.
you went out of conference.
Okay, wait. Okay, I got I got I got hypotheticals. I had hypotheticals when I was talking to Marshall. So this is my hypotheticals, right? All right, so you got boom, you got Georgia, conference champ. You got Alabama, 1 lost team. Them boys in. Because Alabama will probably be ranked like 6 or something. Them boys in. So then you got Oklahoma and Texas got 2 losses, but they rank in the top 10. Them boys in because they will fall into the category of the next highest ranked teams. So then you got 4 SEC teams already. And let's just play around. Let's play around and say South Carolina 9-3, and we're ranked number 12.
Well, I
Fine.
think I think the rankings aren't going to matter at that point, right? So I think Bama
No,
can
it, no,
still
it
be
has no,
ranked.
it has to matter because that's the stipulations.
No, I'm saying like let's say Bama got 1 loss, then their only loss came to Georgia, right? They still might be ranked number 2. Just when the brackets come out, they won't be number 2. You see what I'm saying? But they'll be number 2 like on the overall
Yeah,
thing on the top 25. So then they'll get slaughtered based on that. So if they're number 2, then they automatically go into like spot 7.
yeah, because they won't be a conference champ.
Right.
All right, so then it's like, okay, so wait. So the 4 highest ranked conference champions, seeded 1 through 4, will all receive a first round bye.
One
The
through four get
the
a
other
bye.
8 teams will play in the first round with the higher seeds hosting the lower seeds, either on campus or at other sites designated by the higher seeded institution. So it'll be 12 at 5, 11
Hold
at
on.
6.
The higher institution gets to pick the location. Oh, that's cheap. Dude, like, why would you not play at home then? And that I don't know, but
Because let's just say Texas in it, and Texas rank, let's just say Texas rank 5, so 12 at 5. Texas is gonna be like, oh, well, we don't want to play in Austin. Let's go to AT&T Stadium.
right.
Um, so
That's actually kind of dope. That's interesting. I like it.
so
It's different.
after the first round and the semifinals, so the 4 quarterfinal games and the 2 playoff semifinals will be bowl games, and of course the championship game is like the big championship bowl game.
They'll be considered bowl games. The 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 playoff games are going to be like Fiesta Bowl and all that stuff like
Yeah,
that.
not the first round. The first round of games, not bowl games, but everything after the first round are bowl games.
So if you got 5 through 12, that leaves you with 4, 8, and then so the 4 play the next 4, and then
Yeah.
but
Um.
so then you got to play a whole nother thing of games though. Cause see, I've always been a fan of making the playoffs bigger, but I thought they would have went to like 8 teams first. Cause now you got to play once you play that 5 through 12 game, then now everybody playing, right? I guess one will probably play 8 in that quote unquote 8 or whoever is the lowest one left. Then after you play
Yeah.
that, then the top 4, then it's gonna be like the playoff now. These 4 are gonna play again. So like now it's gonna be getting up to like almost NFL territory amount of games. They gonna have to, and I know they doing that because in NIL, so like they gonna make the players like work for the money. But I know especially at this point they gonna have to go back to the drawing board about when you could leave school. That conversation gonna come back up again
Yeah,
because if you starting, you a true freshman starting, or let's just say you a redshirt freshman. You don't even gotta be a true freshman. You a redshirt freshman. You play. You make 2 national championship runs, so you get 11. You play 14, and then 15 games in a season. You like, man, I gotta go to the league, dog. I can't play
yeah.
another
'Cause at
15
that point
game
in time,
season.
you're already making so much money. At that point, it's just like, dude, are you even still like an amateur? Like, just go ahead and go. But they also would say, oh, body, and because the whole thing was like, hey, when you're 21, you kind of grow into your man body, and you will
Right?
continue to
Yeah.
grow. So I think they'll still use biology as a counter, but then they'll say, oh, what about that Derrick Henry looking player that's 6'2", 240, that he already looks like he can take the abuse of an NFL season. Then they'll
Right.
start talking about that. So
Well,
then,
and then I think the pushback. I think the pushback is going to come down to games. I think the fairest way to do it is games, right? So you say if you played, you have to play. So let's just say a full season, right? And let's say injury, like with the exception of injury, but let's just say the full season 11 games. Let's just say y'all go 0-11, so y'all don't play nothing else after that. The rule should be if you played 11 games, then you should be eligible. And the reason why it's not more than 11 because you don't want to deal with the 2 year starter. Some people start for just the 1 year or
yeah,
whatever. But
yeah,
you know, like when you talk about old linemen and stuff, them dudes already be. I
yeah.
mean,
Offensive line and
they be
defensive line kind of
ready.
already be like ready.
Like Chase Young had looked the same way when he came out of high school. You seen his high school pictures? he
Like
looked the
Jadavian
same way.
Clowney still look the same. He still kind of look the same. He added some mass, but like he still was
Yeah.
245 in high school, 245 in South Carolina, 245 coming in the league.
Yeah,
So I mean,
so I think that would be that's gonna be the counterpoint is all
or they
right.
can
I
say,
played
hey, let the guys sit for a year. Yeah, we drafted them, but let them sit, let them bulk up, and then we will throw them in. But the guys who are like ready, like NFL ready now, them boy playing.
well, yeah. I mean that's also another thing where they can that I think that gets harder for teams in the NFL because you're paying that guy to sit.
Yeah,
And like you're purposely and it's a big money game in the NFL, so you don't
right.
want to have this guy. You paying him to sit, and then like you see him at practice and realize like okay he might not be it, or you might see him at practice and realize he really it. He got the skills to play right now, and you just especially at certain positions, you know what I'm saying like a cornerback or something like it ain't much learning that happens there. It's like you either command this man up or you can't. Like,
Well, I'm gonna leave that saying what Professor Beasley always used to say to us in marketing. It all depends.
yeah,
All right, y'all. Man, we just wanted to get up with y'all and just kind of discuss what's going on with college football.
yep,
Um, well, we're gonna have a lot more college football episodes in the season because the season's about to ramp up. It's starting up. Spring games out the way. Summer practice is being underway.
yep.
Um, they're
It's gonna be
fine. They're
lit.
fine
I'm
tuning
excited.
all the rosters, everything like that. More and more reports are coming out. High school football is starting back up. We will be talking about that.
Yep.
Big names, big recruitments, videos, things like that. We got some things in the works for y'all as far as production and things like that. You'll see it in the upcoming videos. What else am I missing? Anything you want to add?
No, just like, comment, subscribe, keep tuning in. We appreciate it. The comment section has been engaging. We love it. Y'all keep it up. Y'all keep supporting us, and man, we gonna keep bringing this content to y'all. And y'all just keep letting us know, man. Do's, don'ts, likes, dislikes, and then we gonna keep this thing rocking.
All right, man. With all that being said, it's been Cheese. Boom, bam. We're going for the gusto, baby. Peace.